While we're waiting on all that stuff to release, which it won't, Megyn Kelly comes out in response to all the emails. By the way, this is before the vote in the House and everything. When all the emails came out, Megyn Kelly, former Fox News host, shill, grifter, goes on her radio show and says this. Oh, and then also her stupid ass friend sitting next to her on the screen, like nodding along, being like, "Yes, girl, spit that knowledge."
As for Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually.
Insane thing to say, like without being more specific. I know someone very close to the Epstein case. You want to be a little bit more clear about what you mean by that?
Everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this.
And I wonder if the lady on the panel with her signed up for this. To say I have a buddy that's close to this case, and then to follow that up with, they don't think Epstein's a pedophile. Then what is he? He has been known as like this elite level, professional level pedophile at this point. What could he possibly be other than a pedophile? And I like how as soon as Megyn Kelly says that, the lady's like, like, you're locked in now. You're part of this moment. There's nothing you can do about it.
But that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts.
What do you mean you're just giving us facts? What? I'm like Lil Jon. What? Okay. What do you mean you're just giving us facts? He was into the barely legal type. 15-year-olds. Is there even a state in the U.S. where the age of consent is 15? And nonetheless, he was in Florida. A state with this age of consent that's 18. It doesn't matter what the surrounding states are. This man lived in Florida. I would assume the New York age of consent is the same. I don't know, because I don't study the age of consent laws in different states. If I know any of those ages, it's not by my choice. It's because I get to listen to crap like this. Or they're like, well, technically the age of consent there was not 18, it was 16. And so, yeah, you could just rape a child. I mean, what is this argument here? You're just stating the facts. Yeah, he's a pedophile. Under the age of 18, and you're like 35. Pedophilia. He's a pedophile. I'm getting so animated about it because I hate these age of consent arguments. I hate these like age discussions where they're like trying to mental somersault themselves through like 15 different hoops just to end up at, well, it's not really pedophilia. I mean, it's just a guy with some young taste. What? Okay, you know, sorry. It's like whenever I hear guys being like, well, I mean, you know, she was 17, but in that state, you know, the age of consent is 16. That doesn't apply to you, man. You're like 20 years older than them. That doesn't apply to you. You're going to jail. Age of consent laws are more so for like high schoolers who have already turned 18 or a teenager that graduated already, but their girlfriend's a year younger than them, or their boyfriend's a year younger than them, and like they're in their first year of college while the other person's in their senior year of high school. It's for like age gaps like that, not, hey, I found this 16-year-old who's still in high school and I'm like 29. Like, that's not what those laws are for. If you're using those laws to do that, you're a pedophile. And I'm fully willing to subscribe to calling you that. So yes, you can't just say Epstein had younger taste. He was a pedophile.
That he wasn't into for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were. Into like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look.
He liked the very young teen types that the teen in question is a 15-year-old. And on top of that, this 15-year-old looks younger than a 15-year-old. What would we call that? A pedophile. What else would you call it? My God. God, fuck, man. The Republicans have really twisted themselves into loving pedophile. I mean, libertarianism is over, you know? Dude, libertarians are cooked. They don't have anything anymore. That was like their one thing. Libertarianism is allowing pedophilia and not having a driver's license. I mean, that's literally their top two issues. And now all they have left is, why do we need a driver's license? I mean, the Republicans stole their shtick, bar for bar. You know, my God. Sorry, libertarians. You're out. We don't need you anymore. The driver's license thing is a reference to the 2016 primary for libertarians, where Gary Johnson, the eventual nominee, was the only one on stage during the debate that actually agreed with people having a driver's license, and he got overwhelmingly booed at the convention center when he said that. And all the other candidates were like, you shouldn't need to take it. Like, it's so insane.
Legal to a passerby. And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And it was teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby. And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And it wasn't until we heard from...
So because the underage minor looked like they were of age, then it's like, fine, he's not a pedophile? What are we saying here?
Pam Bondi, that they had tens of thousands of videos of alleged, forgive me, they used to call it kiddie porn. Now they call it child sexual abuse material.
Oh, God forbid the woke left coming after real American patriot terms like the term kiddie porn and giving it a more, a more mature moniker. Sorry, this really serious thing that we take super seriously, we've renamed it to child sexual abuse material, CSAM, and no longer call it super silly illegal fun time with pedophiles. I mean, come on. What was the point of that? The woke has killed the term kiddie porn, folks.
On his computer, that for the first time I thought, oh no, he was an actual pedophile. I mean, only a pedophile gets off on young children abuse videos. She's never clarified it. I don't know whether it's true. I have to be honest. I don't really trust Pam Bondi's word on the Epstein matters anymore. Yeah, so I don't know what's true about him, but we have yet to see anybody come forward and say, I was I was under 10, I was under 14.
Do we need that? Oh my God. Oh my God. Let him go. We should have free my boy Epstein. We should have never released him. Or sorry, we shouldn't have killed him. We should have taken him out of jail, folks. Sorry, guys. Exonerated. No 8-year-olds on the record saying they were ever trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein. You heard it here, folks. Innocent. Absolved. Oh my God. This should be the end of her career. I think SiriusXM should just cut the cord now. Like, this is a crazy take. Even by her standards, this is crazy. I mean, on her Fox News days, she used to say some crazy shit. This is beyond the pale. This is like, I mean, this is a whole nother level of what are you saying right now? Is the check that good? Is the check they're writing you that fat? Like, sorry guys, no 8-year-olds have come out. Nobody under 10 has come out, so it's all good. I mean, okay. You know, oh, you were 15? Nah. That's just called casual dating. You know, oh, so what? I mean, he's just flying you to New York. What teenager doesn't want to go to New York? This is crazy, dude. Like, this has more knots than a fucking pretzel trying to justify why Epstein shouldn't be called a pedophile.
When I first came within his purview, look, you can say that's a distinction without a difference.
No, it's not.
I think there is a difference.
Yeah.
Yes, Queen, speak your truth. This matters. This really matters. We need to be making these distinctions. Watch out, woke left. Epstein was actually not a pedophile. He was just a man with exquisite young taste. You know, I don't see any 8-year-olds coming out. I don't see any 10-year-olds out here saying, Jeffrey Epstein flew me to New York. Holy shit, man.
Look, you can say that's a distinction without a difference.
No, it's not.
I think there is a difference. Yeah. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. You know, it's just whatever. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. Yeah. You know, it's just.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The only difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old is a 1. They're both children. Like, I'm sorry. Anybody under 18, that's a child. Even you can even make that argument for an 18-year-old who's still in high school, because to some extent they don't have their own autonomy. They are still in grade school. They're still more than likely living with their parents, still under the watch legally of their parents. It's gross if you're like in your if you're 20 and older. Even like 20, you're riding the line. If you're old enough to drink at all, and you're like, I met this 18-year-old who's in their second semester of their senior year, that is gross. I know that's like controversial to say to some people, but that's gross. There is something inherently predatory about that to me. This person doesn't have their own autonomy over themselves yet, because they're still considered a minor by the law. There is something inherently predatory about that to me, that you will go as young as an 18-year-old in high school, and you think that's like okay. And for her to come out here and say, oh, well, he just had young taste. He was just picking up 15-year-olds who, to him, looked younger, but to the general public could pass as an adult. So he's not a pedophile, guys. That is abhorrent and disgusting. I don't know how she came on here and thought this was a good take worth sharing. And whoever this lady is next to her, that's just kind of like, yes, queen, preach. I don't know what to say. I mean, Megyn Kelly has said wild shit before. This might be the wildest thing I've seen her say in a long time. To come out and say notorious, rich pedophile Jeffrey Epstein is actually not a pedophile, according to my one source who's really heavily involved in the case. I'm just speaking the facts, folks. I'm like getting nauseous thinking about this. It's so gross. Like, look, I was in high school and Jeffrey Epstein died in prison when they killed him in his cell. I was a senior, and even back then I recognized that, this guy was a notorious sex trafficking pedophile. And anyone I went to high school with, if someone his age was like coming up to one of them and one of the people I go to high school with and would have been like, hey, want to come to my New York City penthouse and give me a massage? I did the wrong side. That would be wrong and illegal, and sex trafficking and pedophilia. So, I don't know. Really gross. Here's some clips of Megyn Kelly basically contradicting her own statements about Epstein.
Young women who...
Fuck, man. Like, she is clearly, in her vast media career, she has clearly spoken about child abuse cases before. So there's obviously clips where she's, talking about this stuff.
Might be thinking about leaning conservative or voting.
Here's her talking about Russell Brand being accused of sexual assault.
Republican. Do you think this is a good recruiting method after all of the years that we've been through where the Republican brand has been so damaged? Do you think they're wanting to sign up with a brand where it's like, hey, as I'm now seeing online, she was 16. What about her culpability? Oh my God. Shut up. If that's your position, I can't even engage in a good faith argument with you.
I don't know. It's
She was a minor. She
kind of seems like if they were 15, you'd be cool with it.
My God, shut up. If that's your position, I can't even engage in a good faith argument with you. She was a minor. She was a child. To even equate the two on this scale is an absurdity that shows you, if you're making the argument, probably have some skeleton in your closet that you don't want me to know about.
Megyn Kelly, it kind of seems like you might have a skeleton in your closet that you don't want people to know about. She just said a 16-year-old is a minor in this clip. So a 15-year-old is also a minor. She also called the 16-year-old in this clip a child. So the 15-year-old is a child. Thus, by definition, Jeffrey Epstein would be a pedophile. This episode's so going to get age restricted, by the way. I can see it happening. This episode's going to get age restricted because of this. But I don't care. I mean, this is disgusting behavior. It's a disgusting take in general. And the fact that she has been on record calling a 16-year-old a minor and a child in reference to Russell Brand's allegations. Which, mind you, Russell Brand, I believe, is British, so it's actually somewhat legal in England to be doing that with somebody that age. But, nonetheless, it's still gross, especially by our standards here in America. It's just crazy that she has a clip of her out here saying this. Hey, here's another clip from Republican Accountability on Twitter.
You feel as a victim. You feel a victim. To people who are going to be out there, because you know some are going to judge and say you were 15, you were 16, you were 17, you were a willing participant. Again, the legal age of consent in California is 18, so there's no consenting for a 14 or even a 17-year-old in these circumstances.
As for Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into.
This is the other thing. If you're not trying to give an excuse for it, why are you saying it? I finally have a use for this center cam. Why are you saying it then? If you're not trying to excuse it, why are you saying it in the first place? You're like, I know this is disgusting. I'm not trying to excuse it. Then shut the fuck up. Don't say it then. I'm doing the Trump hands again. Then don't say it. My God. I don't think this, but my friend who has close ties to the Nazis, they said that Jews control the world. Isn't that crazy? I mean, think about it. I guess they do kind of run the banks, and a lot of them are lawyers, I guess. I mean, fuck. Imagine that. I don't necessarily subscribe to that kind of ideology, that kind of Nazi ideology, but I mean, when you really think about it, my God, they do kind of control the facets of society. It's the same thing. If I said something like that. You know, if you don't believe in the whole, like, he was into the barely legal type of thing, then why are you defending it in this clip? Why are you explaining it throughout the clip?
Like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby. And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And it wasn't until we heard from Pam Bondi that they had tens of thousands of videos of alleged, forgive me, they used to call it kiddie porn. Now they call it child sexual abuse material on his computer.
Oh, it's just the whole clip being replayed. Man, dude. What a fall. What a fall from grace, Megyn Kelly, man. I mean, not even a fall from grace, really. I mean, really a fall from liberalism. I mean, she used to be one of the most popular, famous Fox News hosts. You know, used to constantly get ragged on by The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. Like, you knew her from Fox News. And then she, like, becomes a centrist liberal on MSNBC. She's at, like, the peak of her career. And then she just becomes a Sirius XM radio host and goes right back to the conservative grift. I guess liberal grifting wasn't making her enough money. So, you know, whoever's writing the checks, if you need a competent pedophile defender, you know who to call. God, dude. This episode's killing me. Taking me out. It's grabbing my throat and ripping it out.